Look what we have here. A little catty checking out the work I did yesterday. What are you doing there? What are you doing there? I've not seen you before. You seem very tame. Oh, good day. Well, that was a rather lovely surprise. I thought, who's checking out that bed that I covered over yesterday? And it's a new Ginger Tom. Not seen that one. Have I? Yeah, I think I saw that one about a month ago on the there's a fence line between Richard's work and the allotments here, and I saw that one scrabbling along the fence line, trying to chase off some magpies about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. It's quite a young one, I think, but bless, what a cutie. Oh, I do miss our catties, but yeah, the time isn't right, I don't think, to get further little four-legged creatures in the house. Not quite yet. Anyway, today I thought I would answer or try and answer a question that Berta asked. She was wondering which way our plot faces. And I thought it was quite an interesting question in many ways, because we are sort of in an area of the allotment where it doesn't really matter what area or what way our plot faces. But on the top half of our plot, we're quite shaded. And it made me realise that actually there is quite a difference between having a south-facing garden that you might want in the UK for your home, and being at an allotment which is quite open and not that shaded. So let me just go outside and I can explain which way is east, west and south, and hopefully give you a better idea of which way our plot is facing, which I think is south-southeast or west-southwest, if you look at it the other way, if you see what I mean. Let me get out there. Right, if you can see this building here, this is the Fox pub, and that is south from where I'm standing at the moment. If I then pan you round up here, this way, up there, is east, where the sun rises. Then obviously it makes its way across the heavens, passes south, and then down here is where the sun sets in the summer. So if I bring you back to looking this way, if you like, which is down the bed, this is south, way up here is east. So effectively, this is facing south-southeast. So these beds are effectively aligned south-southeast through no intention, just the way I set them out. Then if we look this way, which is effectively straight down the plot, if you like, I think that's a little bit off, that's it there. So if we look straight down there, that's going to west-southwest. So effectively, depending upon whether you look at the side of our plot, or which is here, or the front of the plot, which is there, depends upon whether we face south-southeast or west-southwest. Because if I just sort of spin around, there might be some creaking, but you can see that even these trees that are here, in the summer, they casts no shadow across this plot here. If we then look up by the polytunnel, there's a big buddleia at the side of the polytunnel, and that casts a shadow for up to about 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning in the summer. So there is a bit of shadow cast on the top of our plot, but not on the area that we're on at the moment. I will go into more detail when I start doing the areas under the vinyl, but I hope that answers Berta's question. Effectively, this is southeast, so the sun comes right over, if you like, and sets that way. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you're having a good day. It's quite grey here today, so this first segment for a week at the plot is on a grey day. But as I've said before, we are in winter. We should expect that. And I think, is tomorrow the long, or is it today? Is today yes, today's the shortest day. So actually it's Midwinter's Day today. I just remembered that. How fabulous. So from this evening, things will start getting brighter. Though actually it doesn't actually feel as though things are getting brighter for a couple of weeks, but meteorologically it's happening. Okay, I'll see you again very soon. Bye. Good day. When I was talking yesterday about which way our plot faced, I sort of showed you a particular view down one of the beds, and right on the far view of one of the beds was a blue shed, and Sandy asked, gosh, does your plot go right up to that blue shed? But it doesn't. There are actually two plots. That's 2 plots away from us, but we're side on alongside each other, if you see what I mean. But what it made me realize is I've never actually shown you the boundaries of the plot. I think I pointed to them, but I've never actually walked to the boundary of this plot. So I thought we'd do that today. Let's get on. So this is our 1940 shed, what I call the 1940 shed. And that tree right at the back here is effectively the very back of our plot. So this is the polytunnel end, and this is the storage area, as you can see. And if I just come off the path, come around, this is the path that goes down the side of our shed. So on the left here is the plot that we've had for about 4 years. Is it 4 years? I think it's 4 years. And then coming down here, there's the shed and the storage and thingy area. The bits and pieces area needs some tidying. Tidying is a good winter job. Then we carry on down. So this plot is the plot that we moved to last year, and as you now know, 6 and 6A are now one plot, number 6. So the boundary comes down here to the compost bins, and then this is the path that you sometimes see me walking along, particularly up here because I generally enter the plot from there. So our boundary goes up to the corner of the vinyl here, and then I'll keep our plot neighbour out of view, but you can see that that's the path that goes up to our polytunnel, and this is the boundary of our plot, and the path is the path between our plot and our neighbour's plot. So we carry on up here, again back to the plot we originally had. If I just go this way, this is a pathway between the two plots. You can see it sort of continues on the next plot there between those two sheds. So there is a rough pathway that goes all the way across. Oh, I left my rake out. Naughty. And then up here, that's our neighbour's shed. And then the boundary is effectively this buddleia. The buddleia goes right up there, and you can just see here our pallet compost bin. So there's a fence at the back there, so our plot effectively stops a metre before that fence. Let me sort of carry on going around and I can show you. So behind the polytunnel we have a pallet compost bin. Somebody gave me these sacks. They've actually got some plants in, some shrubs, which will go in somewhere either here at the community gardens. So yeah, our boundary effectively finishes, you can see this rough green fencing here, it finishes here. And then at the back, that area there is a wildlife area. We effectively keep the back, as you can see our neighbour's plot behind there, they keep theirs clear for wildlife. So yeah, that's the full boundary of the plot. If I come back up here, or not back, oh, I've still got to remove that decrepit yellow trug. But yes, that's the tree that we saw right at the beginning. So that's the full boundary. And I don't know if you can see down here, this is one of Fenella's dens. It goes down that shed, but actually is under the 1940 shed. Right, there we are. That's the full look at the boundary of our plot. So I will leave it there and see you again tomorrow. Bye. Good day. As you can see, a wet day. I had intended to come down here and do some harvesting. I checked the AccuWeather app and saw that there was a window of about an hour where it wasn't raining. So I thought, yeah, let's get down there and we can do a little harvest video. But as I came to the shed and opened the shed and then sat down outside to do a quick intro, it started raining, as you have seen, and it's still raining at the moment, lighter than it was 5 minutes ago. And we have had glorious sunshine only about half an hour ago, 40 minutes ago. So who knows what will happen? You know, we're in that English weather time. However, what this does give me an opportunity to talk about is something that popped up on my Facebook timeline. If you're on Facebook, you'll mostly know that every now and again it tells you a sort of memory or something. It shows you a photo that you uploaded, a year ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. And this morning up popped a photo that I posted 6 years ago. It was a before and after shot of my 3 meter by 3 meter growing space at the community gardens, which I became the tenant of 6 years ago today. It was well overgrown. It had lots of weeds. It also had some perpetual spinach, a lovely thyme, a fennel, and also a rosemary on it, quite small. And over a period of a couple of hours, I completely weeded it, and that really rekindled. That was the start of the rekindling of my passion for growing again. When I was very young, Mum and Dad had a guest house in Guernsey. Dad was also a docker. We had a big garden with lawn area and parking for guests, but we also had a very large vegetable garden which Dad used to look after, and that used to supplement the meals for the guests to keep costs down. And I used to help him. And then when we moved closer to Dad's work, and we moved to another house with another very big garden, which also had an orchard with 13 apple trees in it. And half of the garden Dad put out to ornamental and to patio, and half was the orchard and also a large vegetable garden that he created. So from a very early age, I had a passion for growing vegetables. Particularly, I love flowers, I love shrubs and trees, but I particularly love vegetables. And I remember carrots and peas being one of the first vegetables I ever grew myself, and scattering that carrot seed into the soil and popping in those peas. And yeah, then life, growing up, moving to London, life, work took over. And it was, as I say, in December 2014 that my name reached the top of a list for a 3 meter by 3 meter growing space at our community gardens. And from then on, my passion has just grown and grown. Over those 6 years, what has happened? I joined the committee at our community gardens relatively swiftly. And I think at my first committee meeting, the current chair stood down, and I put myself up to be chair and became chair. So for, I think, 4 years I was chair, 4.5 years I was chair of the community gardens, and gave that up in October 2019, so October last year. And a great guy called Stuart is now chair and is doing a great job there, which is terrific. After 2 years, I'd maintained my growing space at the community gardens well, and I was my name came to the top of the list for an allotment. Now, this is the sister site to the community gardens. Both are owned and tenanted by the charity of William Hobbain, which is a charity that started in 1484, or it was a good cause that started in 1484 and became a charity later on, obviously. And there's an opportunity for people who've maintained their plots well at the community gardens to move over to the allotments. And there's also an opportunity for people at the allotments who may want to downsize to move to the community gardens and have a smaller growing space. So in 2016, October 2016, I was offered a plot here. I was shown about 3 or 4 different plots, and I picked the one just up here where we now have the polytunnel. Then I think it was a year later, having tended the plot at the community gardens well, and also here well, I was offered another space because we're allowed one full plot per household. And that was the space that you may have seen if you've been watching us for a while. That's about 50 meters, 60 meters further down on the site from this shed where I'm talking to you at the moment. Then I was going to give up the plot at the community gardens, and the charity wanted me to stay on, preferably as chair. So that continued for some years. Though my plot at the community gardens I gave up earlier this year, I no longer have it. It made sense for somebody else to have that plot. Now we have two half plots together, making one whole plot here. So yes, we grew on the new site, the new plot at the allotments, as I say, 50, 60 meters from where I'm sitting at the moment, for a couple of years, and did very well. It used to be a communal area that had the communal shed for the allotments on it. So it was pretty virgin grass, and there wasn't much weed. So my no dig there worked really, really well. And then this plot that I'm sitting on at the moment, this half plot, was going to become available, and it made sense to combine the two half plots. So I had a half plot at the top here, I'm pointing that way, you can't see me, with the polytunnel, and then the 150, 60 meters down there was a third of a plot. So by giving up that plot where we had a third of the plot and taking on this plot that I'm sitting on now, which is a half plot, it meant that we've got two half plots that were put together. And as you know, 6 and 6A, as I mentioned yesterday, became one plot again in October, which is when our tenancies renew. So this is now plot 6, which is terrific. And obviously in that time, in 2016, an opportunity came up with what was then the Federation of City Farms and Community Gardens for people to apply for the role of a trustee, a board member of that charity. And it was suggested that I put my name forward, and in fact the forms were filled in for me and sent off. And in late 2016, I think November, December, though my first board meeting was in the January of 2017, I became a trustee of that organisation, which is now called Social Farms and Gardens, following a merger with Care Farming UK, which was a good couple of years ago now. I think that was April 2018. So yeah, in this time, it's really interesting because my passion for growing really is there. And I think I went through a really dark year, or dark 18 months, where I had to give up some work I won't go into it, but I had to give up some work because it wasn't working for me. And I couldn't get any other work, and over a period of like 18 months, I was virtually without any work, and it was a really challenging time. And because Richard was working full time, I couldn't claim benefits because he was earning £124 too much a year for me to get benefits of any type, which I found really bizarre, having paid into the system for so many years. But, that was then. And when I got that small 3 meter by 3 meter growing space, I really threw myself into it. And here we are today. Shortly after I joined this allotment site, we had a committee meeting, and again, as with the community gardens, I joined the committee and became chair, I think, the same day. And I've been chair here for, I think, three years now. And I hope I'm doing a good job. It seems to me as though I'm doing a good job. Um, we always have niggles. Allotment site, there are always niggles, but hopefully we can always, smooth those out. And and we have like many allotments, it's a great allotment site with a whole host of different characters and different ages, and because we have the ease of moving from the community gardens, which is quite family oriented, to the allotments, we're now seeing quite a few sort of families again taking over plots here and growing up with the growing that's going on the site, which is absolutely great. It's lovely to see that. And you see pond dipping going on, and it's great. It's great seeing a whole mix of ages, because we have ages from a 2-month-old baby to people who are quite mature, let's say. So, and so many different experience levels, and of course we all learn from each other in so many different ways. um Tina, who follows us on Twitter, I put up a photo on Twitter about 6 years ago. I took on this 3 meter by 3 meter growing space at the community gardens, and Tina, who has only had an allotment and been growing for a year, commented and showed us photos of what she'd done in a year, and commented that what we do inspires her to do what she does, to do the growing she does, which is just fantastic to hear. It really does mean something when people say, what, you've inspired me. And yeah, that's quite, it's lovely, and it's powerful, but I don't mean powerful in an aggressive way. I mean powerful in a warm and welcoming way, if you see what I mean, an uplifting way. Anyway, so what will the next 6 years bring? Who knows? Who knows? Where will we be growing in 6 years' time? Who knows? We just don't know what the future holds. And I think that's why we really need to enjoy the moments that we have in life today as much as possible. And as I've been talking, the rain has stopped. And yes, it's wet underfoot, but there's a few little jobs I want to do. There's some compost to go into the compost bins, some peelies from the kitchen to go into the compost bins. There's some covering I want to do. There's some potatoes that I want to check, but I might leave those until Christmas Day. Bit of harvesting. Shall I leave that till tomorrow? Most probably. I'll most probably leave it till tomorrow. I've got cardboard here next to me that I need to tear up to go into our compost bins. So I think I'm going to leave you all there. And 15 minutes. Sorry, it's been a rambly one today, but I think that follows on quite neatly from looking at where our plot faces, what direction our plot faces on Monday, and doing the perimeter walk, the boundary walk of the plot yesterday. Today you've got a little bit of history of why I'm sitting here today and why we have this plot. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And I will see you again very soon. Tomorrow, in fact, because we'll be doing some harvesting. I think I'm going to harvest tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but I think I'll do it tomorrow now for Christmas Day. And then we don't have to do so much on Christmas Day. Not that there's a lot to do. There's only 2 of us. There's not a lot to do. But sprouts, we love sprouts, but I find them one of the most awkward vegetables to actually prepare before they go into the steamer for cooking, or go into the pan for steaming and frying, whichever way you're cooking yours, or go into the oven for roasting, of course, as well, because That's something that quite a few people do now. Anyway, rambling. Stop going on, Paul. Have a good day. See you again tomorrow. Bye. Good day. It's Christmas Eve, and I've done our harvest of veggies for Christmas Day. So we've got parsnips, a small celeriac, Brussels sprouts, turnips, beetroot, purple sprouting broccoli, and a little calabrese that has come up as well. So that's great. Now all we need to do is see if our potatoes, our Christmas potatoes, have come to anything more than just two. Good day. This is where our Christmas potatoes have been for the past, 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe. You may remember we saw a few potatoes. In fact, you can just see the edge of the potato there. That was dug up by a squirrel, I assume. So what I'm going to do now is just empty this whole, or these whole tubs into a wheelbarrow, because I'm going to be putting the spent compost directly onto one of our beds. So let me take you outside and we'll see if there's any more than two potatoes in these two. There doesn't seem to be many. I know there's two. There's one. There's a little one. 3, 4. Oh yeah. 5, 6 little ones. No, I can't see any more in there. Let's get the other one. Oh, there's one. Let's just have another shifty look through. No, let's get the other one. Ah, there's one. Tiny one. Another. There's one. No, I think that's it. That's it. There's another one. And a weeny one. Well, can you see those? There we are. Not the greatest harvest of potatoes in the world. There's about, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4 that size, and then there's about 6 that size. So yeah, not the greatest harvest in the world. But you know what? Considering that was from potatoes that I found completely dried up in the shed, and it was in spent compost as well, there's a few forkfuls of new potatoes to have with our Christmas lunch, which is lovely. I hope you're all having a good day, and I will see you soon for a week at the plot. The sun, it's still Christmas Eve, and the sun is glorious, the sky is glorious. In fact, let me just spin you round. Look at that blue sky. Isn't that just glorious? Yep, so even though I'm filming this on Christmas Eve, you will see this potato harvest on Christmas Day. And I hope you're all having a really good day. And we'll see you very soon. Bye. Good day. It is the day after the day before. It is Boxing Day. And it's quite a grey day today. The sun is up there, just west of south at the moment, and is trying to break through the cloud cover, but the cloud cover is grey. Oh, there's a little catty. It's a little catty I haven't seen before. Gosh, we seem to be getting a lot of cats at the moment. Anyway, it's yes, it's grey cloud day today, and the clouds are moving. We've got Storm Bella on the way. Yeah, the sun might come through, though I think it's unlikely to. But one of the jobs that I want to get done today is I want to empty the pots of spent compost that we have onto the bed behind me here. And sorry, I was just looking at the kitty who's hiding in our next door neighbour's leeks at the moment, and looking at the chickens. Yeah, I want to empty the spent compost from the pots. So that's generally spent compost from potatoes that we grew, both the earlies and the main crop potatoes that we had in tubs last year. You'll have seen the Christmas potato harvest, which was pretty. And now there's a black and white one now, chasing after the other one, and something falling over there. The wind is getting up. The wind is getting up. Anyway, look, I'm going to get on because I think it's only an hour or so before the next rainfall, and I want to get that job done today. Here are 4 tubs, double stacked, of spent compost from potatoes. 3 of these are going to be going on to the bed where we had our cheeky prince that didn't do well this year, and 1 of these will go on to the bed where we initially had broad beans, and actually later we had broad beans as well. that is that job done. So that spent compost from the earlies and the late potatoes that we grew in pots this year, put onto those two beds. As I said earlier, I was hoping that 3 pots would go onto the bed behind me here and 1 pot would go onto the smaller bed, but actually the 4 pots had to go onto the larger bed. I'm going to get in the shed. It's getting a bit blustery. As you saw, I saved my tripod from falling over then. It's getting blustery. It's certainly not really windy at the moment, but those gusts are coming in. Though when I look at the trees and the tree line, they're really not moving that much, but then suddenly there'll be a brief gust and the whole sort of tree will sway. So yeah, so I'm glad to have got that job done. It's not a job that has been hanging around for ages. As you know, I only did the covered the bed that had the cheeky prints in it a week or so ago. So yeah, I'm going to scatter some chicken manure pellets over it now and just let the worms do the work. That cardboard I don't think will fully disintegrate or be taken down by the worms in the months to come before we need to start planting. But that sort of largely depends upon how much rain we get and how warm or cold the coming couple of months are, particularly January and February. So we'll see. I hope whatever you're doing today, you are having a relaxing and calm time. And I think I'll see you again tomorrow. Not quite sure what for. It may just be a little chat. Anyway, see you very soon. Bye. Oh, magpies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for gold, 4 for boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for 8 for a wish. 8 for a wish. I've made my wish. See you tomorrow. Bye. Good day. And it's a rather lovely day. Storm Bella has been, and boy was it windy last night. It's a bit breezy this morning. I've come down to see if there was any damage, and apart from just a few pots having blown over, everything here is fine. Touch wood for later on in the day. I don't know whether Storm Bella is going or gone yet, but one thing I do need to do is cut down the buddleia at the side of this polytunnel, because looking at how the wind could be, there could be a tendency for some of the buddleia to come down and puncture the poly. So I will be sorting that out this coming week. As you may know, or you don't know, I don't think, I edit a week at the plot together on a Sunday morning, and then I do the Sunday segment. And when I was editing this morning, I noticed it was already almost 50 minutes long. There's a lot of chat, so I hope you have enjoyed it, but I'm going to keep this really short. I hope you've had a really good Christmas. Really do appreciate you watching A Week at the Plot and all of our other videos. If you like what we do, please do subscribe, give us a thumbs up as well. And if you're on Planet Vegetaria, I'll see you before New Year. But if you watch A Week at the Plot on YouTube, then the new year will have been and gone by the time you see the next one. So I hope you have a good New Year's Eve and it's nice and quiet and restful and peaceful. Anyway, I will go now. If you got to the end of this, let us know by saying bananas. I always love to throw that in every now and again. And I'll see you very soon for another segment of A Week at the Plot. Bye.